If you never feel desire, you're not healthy.
Wow.
Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
That's quite a statement to kick things off.
It is, but it's really central to our deep dive today. See, your sexual desire, your libido, it's a crucial biological signpost.
Like energy levels or mood.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if your libido has been, really low for a long time, years maybe, that's not just a rough patch, it's a warning sign.
A sign that something deeper might be out of balance.
Precisely.
Yeah.
What many people don't get is that this common loss of desire often hides other health issues.
Right.
So our mission today is to unpack the root causes of low desire and also look at some natural compounds backed by science that might offer some real support.
Think of it as a shortcut, maybe,
Yeah.
to understanding this vital, often sort of hushed up part of health.
Yeah, a shortcut. So let me ask you listening right now. Does this idea of maybe a diminished internal flame, does that resonate with you?
It's a really important question because what we're talking about, low sexual desire, it's often, well, misunderstood. And to really get into it, we need to be clear. Sexual dysfunction is a huge umbrella term.
Right. Covers a lot.
Yeah. Premature ejaculation, ED, compulsive stuff, anorgasmia. But today, we're focusing squarely on low sexual desire, low libido.
Okay, just that piece. Given how common you suggested it might be, maybe people don't even realize it's a recognized thing. Is there like a threshold?
Well, clinically, yeah. There's something called hypoactive sexual desire disorder, or HSDD.
HSDD. Yeah.
And the definition is basically a lack of interest in sexual activity lasting over 6 months. And this is crucial, causing personal distress or problems in your relationship.
Okay. So that last part is key.
Absolutely essential. If you don't feel it's a problem or your partner doesn't, then there's no diagnosis, no issue, really.
It's personal.
Very subjective, yeah.
But if it is a problem, wow, you are definitely not alone. The statistics are kind of startling.
They really are. About 35% of women deal with low libido, and that jumps significantly during menopause, maybe 1 in 3.
1 in 3. Wow.
Yeah.
And men?
The data's a bit murkier there, probably some cultural factors, reluctance to talk about it. But estimates suggest maybe 1 in 10 men.
1 in 10. Still significant.
Yeah, and it tends to get worse as men get older, and it's often tangled up with erectile dysfunction. They frequently go together.
Okay. So these numbers definitely tell us we need to pay attention.
Absolutely. It's widespread.
So what's actually driving desire? The healthy libido? Is it just like an on-off switch we have? Or is it more complicated?
Oh, much more complicated. It's definitely not a simple switch. It's more like a delicate balance.
The balance, okay.
Yeah, and the best way to understand it is through what we call a biopsychocultural model. Sounds complex, but it just means different factors are involved.
Biopsychocultural. All right, let's break that down. Where do we start with this balance? What's foundational?
Well, first up, pillar 1, hormonal balance. Hormones are basically the conductors of the orchestra, especially for sexuality.
Okay, conductors. Makes sense.
For women, estrogen is important, obviously, but also, crucially, testosterone.
Testosterone for women? Really?
Absolutely. It's key for female desire. In fact, in Australia, they actually prescribe testosterone to women for this reason.
Wow, okay. I didn't know that.
And for men, well, testosterone is the main biological driver for arousal. So if those hormones are out of whack...
The whole orchestra sounds off.
Exactly. The rhythm's gone.
Okay, hormones are foundational. But what about the orchestra itself? Our general health.
Right. That's pillar 2. General health and comorbidities. Your body's smart. It prioritizes survival.
Survival first.
Always. So if you're unwell, maybe dealing with chronic illness or even the treatments for it, sex just isn't a priority for the body.
Takes a backseat.
Way back. So a healthy libido often mirrors an optimally functioning body. It's a key point. It's tough to be really unhealthy and have strong desire, and vice versa.
Interesting. So a strong libido can actually signal good underlying health. What about the psycho part of the model? The mind.
Oh, yes. Pillar 3, mental health. This one is huge. Especially today, mental well-being can honestly be more decisive than physical health sometimes.
Really? More than physical?
For desire, yes. Think about it. Depression, anxiety, chronic stress, these are powerful suppressors.
Like a wet blanket on desire.
Totally. Your mind just has to be in a reasonably good place for the body to follow. It really shows that biopsychocultural connection. It's all linked.
That really hits home. How you feel mentally really does set the stage. Okay, what's next in this intricate balance?
4th pillar, self-esteem and self-concept. How you feel about yourself.
How you see yourself.
Yeah. How comfortable you are in your own skin, your confidence. That directly impacts how open you are to intimacy. If you're feeling bad about yourself, it's hard to be vulnerable and open.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And then the relationship itself, that must be huge too.
Pillar 5, quality of relationships. Absolutely central. That emotional connection you have with a partner, it's paramount. A strong, satisfying bond that nurtures desire. Conflict, distance, that erodes it.
And that's not a quick fix, is it?
Not at all. That's ongoing work. Daily effort, sometimes over years.
Right. And building on that connection, what about just talking about sex within the relationship?
Pillar 6, effective sexual communication. You nailed it. Even in really stable, loving relationships, if you don't talk openly about needs, desires, fantasies, it creates a gap.
The communication gap.
Exactly. Misaligned expectations are a huge source of frustration and low desire. Differences in spontaneous desire between partners.
Yeah.
If that's not discussed openly, it causes problems.
Yeah.
So here's a question for you listening. When was the last time you had a truly honest conversation about this with your partner? Really think about it.
That's a powerful question. Okay, so bringing these 6 pillars together, what's the main takeaway?
The core message is that working on these 6 areas, hormones, general health, mental health, self-esteem, relationship quality, communication, that's the fundamental work.
That's a long game.
That's the long game. It takes time, effort, sometimes difficult conversations, but that's where lasting change happens.
Okay, but while you're doing that crucial deep work, let's be honest, humans have been looking for aphrodisiacs forever.
Oh, absolutely. For centuries, we instinctively know desire is this, engine of life. So we've always looked for ways to boost it.
And now, science can actually tell us a bit more. While these things aren't magic pills.
Definitely not magic pills, but some natural compounds do have promising evidence. They can offer support while you're working on those bigger foundational pillars.
Support, not a replacement.
Exactly. So let's look at a few with some decent science behind them.
Okay, let's start with one I think people might have heard of. Tribulus terrestris. What's the deal with tribulus?
Right, tribulus. It's shown some pretty significant improvement in sexual desire, especially for women with diagnosed sexual dysfunction.
For women specifically.
The studies are strong there. There is a good randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled study on premenopausal women with HSDD.
Okay, the gold standard study type.
Yep. And it found tribulus significantly improved things across the board on the Female Sexual Function Index, the FSFI. So desire, arousal, lubrication, orgasm, pain, satisfaction, all improved.
Wow, that's comprehensive.
What's really interesting is how it might work. The women taking tribulus also showed increases in their free and bioavailable testosterone levels.
Back to the hormones, even for women.
Exactly. So it suggests it might work by gently nudging the body's own hormonal balance. It's not just masking symptoms. Another study in postmenopausal women found similar benefits across most of those FSFI areas too.
Okay, that's compelling. What's next? How about Panax ginseng? Especially Korean red ginseng. I hear about ginseng for energy or immunity.
Yeah, Panax ginseng is known for lots of things: mood, thinking skills, immunity. The active bits are called ginsenosides. Typical doses are maybe 200 to 400 milligrams a day.
Okay.
But specifically, Korean red ginseng, which is a fermented type, seems to have this ability to slightly improve erections in men and also boost libido.
How does it do that?
The mechanism is quite cool, actually. It seems to help the body make more nitric oxide.
Nitric oxide. Like
Yeah.
the stuff bodybuilders use for pumps.
Sort of, yeah. It's a vasodilator. It helps blood vessels relax and widen. Better blood flow.
So better blood flow for erections.
Exactly. It opens up the pipes, so to speak.
Yes.
And good blood flow is fundamental. So ginseng seems to support that nitric oxide pathway. It reinforces how much vascular health matters for desire.
Fascinating. So even for something physical like an erection, the body's chemistry, modulated by things like ginseng, plays a huge role.
Yeah.
Okay, what about fenugreek?
Fenugreek, or trigonella.
Yeah.
Traditionally, it was used for male virility.
Okay.
There's some evidence it might give testosterone a slight nudge upwards without messing with the H2 levels. That's dihydrotestosterone.
Right.
Which is why you see it in some testosterone booster supplements, although honestly, its power there is probably limited. Oh, and a weird side note. It has this molecule, sodalon. It can make your sweat and urine smell a bit like maple syrup.
Maple syrup.
Yeah. So if that suddenly happens, now you know why.
Good to know. But maple syrup aside, what's the core benefit for desire?
Right, for libido specifically, studies using a specific patented extract, testofen, usually around 600 milligrams daily for 6 to 8 weeks, they've shown significant improvement in libido.
So it helps libido maybe more directly than testosterone levels.
That seems to be the key takeaway, yes. Helps desire itself, perhaps separate from a major hormonal shift.
Okay, got it. What else should we know about? I've heard about maca andina.
Yes, maca andina, Lepidium myeni. It's a plant from the Andes in Peru. Grows way up high.
High altitude stuff.
Yeah, used for centuries as an aphrodisiac traditionally. More recently, it's gained popularity as an adaptogen.
Like ashwagandha, helping with stress.
Exactly like ashwagandha. Helps the body cope with stress. Now, here's a really important point about maca. It does not seem to affect sex hormone levels.
Okay, so don't take it thinking it'll boost your T levels.
Correct. But studies do show it can significantly increase sexual desire.
Ah, so it works on desire, but not through hormones. Interesting.
Yeah, the mechanism isn't fully clear, but another key thing, the effects might take a while to show up. Maybe around 8 weeks of using it consistently.
8 weeks. Okay, so patience is required.
Definitely, it's not instant.
Does maca have any other benefits that stand out?
Yes, actually. It seems potentially useful for sexual dysfunction that's linked to taking antidepressants, especially SSRIs like sertraline.
Oh, that's a common issue.
It is.
Yeah.
And studies using about 3 grams a day showed improvement there. Also, some other benefits like reducing hot flashes in perimenopause, maybe improving energy levels.
So kind of supports overall well-being too.
Seems like it. Typical dose is around 2 to 3 grams of the root powder, maybe taken with breakfast.
All right, one more. Arginine. People
Ah.
might know this one from like pre-workout drinks.
Yeah, arginine's pretty well known. It's an amino acid.
Mm.
And its big role here is that it's essential for making that nitric oxide we talked about with ginseng.
Ah, the vasodilator again.
Exactly. Helps widen blood vessels, improves blood flow. And in this context, that means better blood flow to the genitals, which helps the physical signs of arousal.
Makes sense. Is there good evidence?
Yeah. Meta-analyses, which combine results from multiple studies, they support its use for sexual function and erectile dysfunction.
Okay. How does it compare to, say, prescription drugs like Viagra?
Right. Good question. It's not as potent as something like sildenafil, definitely not, but it can act as an adjuvant,
Meaning?
meaning it can help prescription drugs work better, potentially leading to stronger effects when used together. So it's a supportive player.
Okay. And dosage? Is it safe?
Doses around 5 grams a day, often split into maybe 2 or 3 smaller doses, seem effective in studies. And yeah, it's generally considered very safe, minimal side effects.
Okay, so tribulus, ginseng, fenugreek, maca, arginine. Some interesting options there with actual science behind them.
Yes, those are some of the natural compounds with, let's say, the most robust backing currently. But, and this is a really big
But
but,
there's a caveat.
it is absolutely vital to understand. No supplement, doesn't matter how good the studies are, can replace addressing those foundational pillars we spent the first half talking about. Yeah. The biopsychosocial stuff.
Right. This is the hard truth part.
It is. If your mental health is suffering, if your relationship is in a bad place, if your hormones are genuinely out of balance because of lifestyle, these supplements, these nutraceuticals, they're likely to have a pretty limited impact.
Their support, not the solution for the core problem.
Precisely. Powerful support, potentially, but they won't fix the underlying issues on their own.
So the real work is still on those foundations.
Always. Ultimately, understanding and looking after your libido, it isn't just about sex. It really is an investment in your overall quality of life, your integral health. We've just dug into how complex it is and looked at some options that have some science to them.
So maybe the final thought for you listening is, consider what this means for you, for your well-being. How could paying attention to this vital part of yourself actually improve your whole life?